Coming up on today's show, Tesla unveils the Model Y and promises that it will enter into production next year. Volkswagen gets ready to open the order books for the ID² in early May with a price tag of under €30,000. And Volvo launches its first ever fully autonomous 12-metre electric bus. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to another roundup in the world of cleaner, greener, safer and smarter transportation. There is a lot to cover, but before we get underway today, I want to send my thoughts to those affected by the horrendous terror attacks that took place in New Zealand as we were readying this show for production. You are all in our hearts. We start today's show with a Thursday night reveal in California of the Tesla Model Y, Tesla's fourth and final instalment of the S3XY sexy quartet of electric cars. Based on the Model 3 platform, Model Y truly is a crossover between the Model 3 and Model X, with seating for 5 or 7, a really impressive 1.3 cubic metres of luggage space, and a drag coefficient of 0.23. Model Y will be sold with standard and long-range battery pack options, as well as a long-range dual motor and a dual motor performance variant. Prices will range from $39,000 for the Model Y standard range all the way up to $60,000 for the dual motor performance model, with standard range Model Y due to go on sale Q2 2021 and other variants on sale in fall 2020. When it launched, the Jaguar I-Pace was marketed with a 100 kilowatt capable CCS quick charging system, but due to some compatibility issues with quick charging stations around the world, was limited to between 75 and 80 kilowatts on average. Jaguar has now begun to lift that restriction with a new software update that unlocks full 100 kilowatt DC quick charging. The update is being rolled out to customers' cars through a quick visit to the dealership and speeds up the first bit of charging from around 10% state of charge to 40% state of charge at compatible 100 kilowatt CCS quick charging stations. A Volkswagen AG, not to be confused with its passenger car brand Volkswagen, has officially revised its goals for electric car production over the next 10 years, shifting from its previous goal of 15 million electric cars across its various brands to 22 million plug-in cars in the next 10 years. The announcement was made at the company's official annual news conference, where Volkswagen AG reported a net profit increase of 6% for 2018 to €12.2 billion. Volkswagen AG says that it aims to also reduce its carbon footprint for all of its vehicles over their lifetime by 30%, in addition to making all of those new electric models. Karma, the company founded out of the demise of the original Fisker Karma, which has been working to bring a new lineup of plug-in cars to market, has announced that it will be relaunching the brand at the Shanghai Auto Show this year with a trio of models. It's been working with Pininfarina on a brand new model, which will debut in Shanghai as a production vehicle, most likely an SUV, along with an all-new, all-electric concept car called the Karma Vision. They will share the stand with the Karma Revero plug-in hybrid, the car that was formerly known as the Fisker Karma in a former life. General Motors' autonomous car division Cruise has announced a hiring drive this week with plans to hire more than 1,000 additional staff over the next 9 months. It will effectively double the size of the Cruise workforce and is all in order to help GM become the first company to launch a fully autonomous robot taxi service in America by the end of this year. Cruise is currently testing a fleet of fully autonomous Chevrolet Bolt EV electric cars on the streets of San Francisco, complete with a team of trained backup drivers behind the wheel. But eventually, it hopes to ditch the steering wheel completely, as well as those backup controls. Volvo's luxury performance brand Polestar has been in the news recently thanks to the unveiling of its high-end Polestar 2 electric car, as well as promising an all-electric SUV called the Polestar 3 in the not-too-distant future. But this week, Polestar's CEO confirmed to the Financial Times that Polestar plugins may not go on sale in the US if they are subjected to tariffs on Chinese exports. That's not only because Volvo and thus Polestar is owned by Chinese automaker Geely, but because the Polestar 2 will be made in China. He's hoping the US-Chinese trade war ends very soon. After a whole host of financial woes which saw it lay off most of its staff and scupper plans to build a production facility north of Las Vegas, Nevada, Faraday Future is now officially selling off the land it originally hoped to build said factory on. Faraday Future purchased the land back in 2015, and it had intended to construct a fantastic dedicated electric vehicle production facility there, with official production of vehicles due to start by 2018 or 2019. But the lack of funds and continuing questions about its future means it's hoping to raise some much needed money from the sale of that land that it can no longer build on. Volkswagen has confirmed that the production version of its first long-range electric car, the 2019 Volkswagen ID2, will be officially unveiled at the Frankfurt International Motor Show in September this year. It will have an expected starting price of around €30,000. However, if you want to get one and you happen to be in its launch market of Europe, you may want to get your hand raised before then, because Volkswagen says that it thinks that the launch edition of the ID2 will sell out long before the official reveal. Order books open on May 8th, so if you're interested, you should probably get ready to place that order. Back in Geneva last week, Fiat Chrysler unveiled a new electric concept car called the Fiat 120. It featured removable modular battery packs, enabling owners to rent additional capacity for long-distance trips rather than haul a massive battery around everywhere with them when they didn't normally need it. This week, we learned that concept car will be the basis for the next generation Fiat 500, which, says Fiat, will be offered only as an electric car. While Fiat hasn't confirmed the modular battery pack will remain from the 120, it's a very unique design feature that could really bring the price down of the car and make it as important to the world as the original 1950s Fiat 500. And now it's time for those shorts. Highways UK has committed to installing 50 new DC quick charging stations across the UK road network to expand EV charging infrastructure. The contract, worth an estimated £2.8 million sterling, will be split between BP Chargemaster and Swarco UK Limited. In releasing the 2020 White House budget this week, President Donald Trump has proposed sweeping cuts for everything from Medicare and Medicaid to environmental protection. It also calls for an end to the US federal tax credit program for plug-in cars. It is expected to be rejected by Congress. Tesla and Chinese battery company CATL are both denying persistent rumours that they're in talks with one another over battery sourcing for the Tesla Model 3. The rumours suggested CATL will build a new factory facility to supply cells to Tesla, but currently both firms are denying this. Fiat Chrysler has issued a vehicle recall involving more than 860,000 cars after testing highlighted that many 2011 through 2016 gasoline-powered vehicles did not meet emissions tests due to faulty catalytic converters. Tesla, it seems, isn't the only company cutting its workforce for the good of electric vehicles. So too is Volkswagen, which announced this week that it will cut 7,000 jobs across its traditional internal combustion engine car manufacturing plants. It will, however, create 2,000 new jobs in its EV and autonomous car segments. A new series of polls by Abacus Data and Clean Energy Canada shows that Canadians believe in an all-electric future. 72% of those questioned said that they believed EVs would become the norm in the not-too-distant future, with 54% saying they'd consider an electric car as their next vehicle. Bugatti, which of course is owned by Volkswagen, is considering making a new model that's far more affordable in Bugatti terms than a standard Bugatti, but that still means expensive for us normies. What's more, it could be all electric, with the company confirming that they're giving it serious thoughts. 7 out of 10 Americans are still terrified of autonomous cars, says the latest AAA survey into autonomous car acceptance. Despite automakers going all in with self-driving cars, the report suggests press coverage, both good and bad, is to blame for the negative impression. China has lifted the suspension of Tesla Model 3 imports into the country. It had been put in place because China claimed imported cars lacked the proper Chinese language warning labels and nameplates. Tesla has fixed this and deliveries to customers have already resumed. Jaguar Land Rover is facing a recall of tens of thousands of cars in Europe because of higher than allowed carbon dioxide emissions. Affected cars are made between 2014 and 2018, with the majority being diesel models, but some petrol cars also included. Dieselgate continues. During a pre-season testing event in Spain this week, every single Energica Ego Corsa race bike for the Motor E race series went up in flames in a padlock fire. It's not clear what cause of the fire was, but it's going to be tough for the series to recover. It's official. 007 will be getting a shiny new Aston Martin in his latest on-screen adventure, and it will be the all-electric Aston Martin Rapide E. It's a great piece of news for EV fans and was driven, say sources, by the film's director, who really likes plug-in cars. Chrysler Pacifica hybrid minivans are involved in a recall to fix a faulty right front lower control arm, which could collapse and increase the risk of a crash. Fiat Chrysler is reaching out to owners and will replace the faulty parts free of charge. And those are your short shorts. As usual, there'll be more next week. Following their collaboration on a joint mobility platform, BMW and Daimler are now apparently in talks to see if they could work together on a shared electric vehicle platform. The rumour comes from two different German language publications which state that the talks are focusing on developing joint electric platforms for compact and mid-size models. Given that the two companies already work closely together on other projects, it's certainly a possibility, but reports reiterate that nothing concrete has been agreed yet. Following the recent tweak to the range of the Tesla Model 3 long range, which saw Tesla increase range quotes by 15 miles per charge, Tesla has begun to push a new software update to existing Model 3 long-range vehicles. The update doesn't appear to be blanket yet and is a little sporadic in its rolling out, so it may be being gradually rolled out. But Tesla says the new firmware update for the Model 3 long range represents some tweaks to the battery management system that allows it to take out a little more energy safely from the battery pack than it first thought was possible. And finally, Volvo's all-electric bus range isn't exactly a new thing. In fact, Volvo has been making all-electric full-size buses now for some time, and we've been covering them quite extensively on this channel. But it's just revealed a new type of 12-metre, 93-seat electric bus that's not only zero emissions, but fully autonomous too. Designed in collaboration with the Singaporean University, Nanyang Technical University, or NTU for short, the bus, or buses, because there are actually two prototypes, are being put through their paces. You can see them driving around the university campus and en route from a local bus depot. And on that note, it's the end of this week's show. Don't forget to like, comment and share, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to find out the minute there's a new show for you to enjoy. If you also want to support our network, you'll find links below to Patreon, Ko-fi and our shop, where you can buy yourself some fantastic new Transport Evolved swag. And if you'd like to chat with us about the show, then why not join our Discord server? There's also a link to that below. Before I go, I'd like to thank everyone who I met in Southern California this week, including the guys at EV West and Zelectric. There are videos on the way. Honda, and of course, the folks at the Electric Vehicle Association of San Diego. I'm a little tired from all of my adventures, but you all made it totally worthwhile. I'll be back soon with more news, reviews and insight for you all to enjoy, but until then, I hope you have a great weekend, and don't forget to be better, kinder and smarter to one another. Keep evolving! Shh, don't tell anybody, but I'm actually filming this in LA in my hotel room. I'm gonna go home and collapse now. See you on Monday.